As I record this video, DR Horton's national review pages are sitting right around 1 star. In the same week in the Central Texas MLS, they have 120 homes for sale and 51 of them already have a buyer under contract. So either those 51 buyers are making a huge mistake or the 1-star reviews aren't telling you the full picture. My name is Taylor Dasch. I'm with EG Realty. I do not work for DR Horton and nobody is paying me to make this video. I help people who are relocating to Central Texas. By the end of this video, you're going to know which it is, and then the one number in this summer's closing data that most buyers will just skip right past. All right, so in the spring, DR Horton ran a 0.99% first year teaser interest rate. By June, that was gone. They replaced it with a 4.99% fixed interest rate. And then in July, they layered in the red tag sale event, which included price reductions such as a $15,500 price reduction on a Pepper Creek Crossing home. So that window closed on August 2nd. Whenever I checked them again on August 15th, the 4.99% interest rate was gone as well. So that's not a scandal. That is the pattern. Builder incentives churn. Incentives could be gone the very next month or even the very next day. So keep that in mind. The current offer is a 4.5% fixed interest rate, but it's only if you use DHI Mortgage as your lender. To get the incentives also, you have to use the property as your primary residence. You can go FHA or VA. So they are running these incentives until September 30th. The property has to close by September 30th. Here's my opinion. They are a great builder for the lane that they stay in. You buy DR Horton for the price, for the incentives, and not for the finishes. My opinion, I wish the finishes were a little bit better, but they always come at a competitive price and they fill gaps in the market that a lot of builders aren't filling. So let's get right into this video. All right, so why do all of these offers expire on September 30th? Because that is the end of DR Horton's fiscal year. So every single incentive that they have offered throughout the year is funneling towards September 30th. They have a 4.5 interest rate now. It's going to expire on the 30th. They will typically have incentives, but you never know. You want to always stay on top of them. And if you want to stay on top of all the latest incentives that all the builders are offering, I have a page dedicated just for that on my website, templetexashomes.net. The link is going to be right down below. All right, let's keep going. All right, so now on the pricing, you can buy a DR Horton property in the Temple area for $195,000 all the way up to $467,900. Now that higher end is going to be likely here in the neighborhood that we're in currently, the Homestead. All right, so the median price point is $261,887. And here is the kicker. The median days on the market is 30. So that is a really strong days on the market, especially for a new construction builder. And why is that? It's probably because the people who are buying in Temple are putting a value on the lower purchase price. So something to keep in mind. And then on the pricing still, they're going to quote you on the principal and the interest. You also have to add taxes and insurance in there. Now, DR Horton, they actually have insurance that they will provide, and it's competitive. Whenever I had a client who was interested in one of their properties, it was at $69 per month. All right, so why is the price so low? So from what I have seen, and one of the cons for DR Horton is that once they really get going on a property, you can't really make any changes. They bulk order these materials and they often have, like, check this out. I mean, they already have all the materials here, all the materials already here. And the finishes are going to be more on the basic end. You're going to get granite countertops. You're going to get vinyl plank flooring, probably carpet in the bedrooms. But hey, it's a good price for what you are getting. So they have 40% of their homes on the market are under contract right now. And in this market, that is huge. They are moving their inventory and they base their incentives on how active the inventory is moving. So you're really trading the finish level for some of the lowest new construction in the whole country. So that is the thing with DR Horton, and that really narrows them down to a very specific demographic that is very active here in Temple. So in the past 60 days, they've closed 41 sales in this area with a median sales price of $265,000, and these are selling within 1.6% of their original list price. So here is where that gets interesting. In July, they were actually closing within 3.7% of their original list price. What changed? The incentives changed, and the pricing changed. They probably started pricing these homes more competitively. For my clients, I tell them, look, you can also negotiate on the incentives that the builder is offering. Always keep that in mind. You want to negotiate for the best possible situation for you specifically. The price isn't everything. All right, let's keep going. All right, so where is DR Horton building? We're going to start off with the entry point neighborhoods. Pecan Creek, they're starting out at $222,000. However, they do have some sales in the MLS from $197,000. Then one step up is Pepper Creek Crossing, so that's the express tier. You can get in there starting at $226,000. Oak Ridge, where they're starting out at $242,000. This is actually where we're at right now. I like this neighborhood. Lake Point, and then Homestead, which is where we started out at, where you have half-acre lots, and you're looking at $465,000 in that neighborhood. That's a completely different tier of a DR Horton build. The last one in Temple that I want to mention is Mesa Ridge. Mesa Ridge, they have it's a high-end product. So I don't really like DR Horton for Mesa Ridge because it doesn't really match with the rest of the houses. You don't want to be, sticking out in terms of finishes. They're still at a great price. They're still offering really good incentives in that area. It's Belton ISD. So, if you want to get into a new construction in Belton ISD, it could be a good option. I personally think it's not up to par with how the rest of the builders are doing them. Then in Belton, you have Hidden Lake Trails starting at $230,000, and then Three Creeks, you have Colt Creek at $268,000. And Three Creeks is one of my favorite neighborhoods. I think they do a good job in Three Creeks. I like DR Horton for that neighborhood. They also have some in Nolanville, Warriors Legacy Ranch. That's DR Horton. It's a little bit higher price point for a DR Horton, starting around $272,000. If you're wanting to get into a property at a lower cost, you can look at Pecan Creek, you can look at Pepper Creek Crossing, and Oak Ridge. These are all great neighborhoods. You're going to get a good product for a great price with great incentives. All right, now let's keep moving. All right, now I want to talk about the reviews on the sales office. So you got 4.9, 4.9, 3.3. They have really good local reviews on these sales offices, and that matches exactly what I see. I like DR Horton's business model because I feel like they spend a lot of time training their sales reps. All the sales reps that I have used have been very knowledgeable on the product that they're selling, and they're knowledgeable on the numbers that they're offering, and then how they can best make the deal work, which is really what you look for in a sales rep. Now, they're still working for DR Horton. You want to make a data-based decision. You're not going to be able to get all of the data from the sales reps just because they probably don't have all of the MLS data. And I always say use an agent. I'm going to get you set up. It doesn't cost anything to use a realtor, especially on new construction. You're not going to get a better deal. So give me a call. I'm going to get you set up on the best new construction. All right, let's keep going. So really, the truth is in the middle, right? These are different people at different stages in the process, and you really can't average them out. The local Google profiles are going to rate these sales offices, the point of the sale, the part that I just told you about. And then the national boards are going to aggregate the whole company, including buyers who wrote the review after they moved in the property. So you buy at one stage and then you live in the other. My take on it is that pretty much any production builder is going to have some bad reviews, especially nationally. If you're building a lot of houses, the people who are not happy are going to be the ones who leave a review. So I cover the things that I look for in my Stylecraft video, but I'm going to give you 5 DR Horton specific checks that I would do prior to purchasing a DR Horton property. Number 1, I would want an agent to make sure that, first of all, I'm getting the best deal possible and that my incentives are aligned with what everybody else has gotten or better than what everybody else has gotten. Number 2 is the inspection. So I would want to get an inspection. If you get in there early, you can have more than one inspection. Inspect it before the drywall. Inspect it whenever it's complete. You can do as many inspections as you want. I at least would want to see an inspection after it's finished. Number 3 is the 11-month inspection. So after you purchase a DR Horton property, you have a 1 to 10 warranty. The full breakdown on how that is covered in the Stylecraft video. DR Horton provides their warranties through RWC, which is a third party, and the programs vary, so be sure to verify exactly what is warranted prior to signing the contract. The biggest things things are that you need to confirm the coverage, the exclusions, and the deadlines. And deadlines in the booklet delivered with your home. So follow its notice and submission procedures, and then keep a written confirmation of all of the repairs and everything, the inspections, emails, photos, and every deadline. And then number 4, ask your lender, especially if you're going with DHI, whether the tax figure on the loan estimate is based off of the Bell County estimates right now, or with the purchase price taken into account as the appraised value of the property. On new construction, that jump gets people every single year, so make sure you budget for it and don't assume that it's already factored into the equation. And number 5 is the second opinion. Take the 4.5 seriously and make them show you in writing what the required points cost on your loan. And then I always say, price one outside lender same day. If the DHI mortgage lender is the only lender that you talk to, you really can't say what the deal is actually worth. So as a summary, DR Horton, I'm going to give them 3 out of 5. I like them. They're great for what they do. Buy a DR Horton home if the price and the monthly payment are the most important things to you. If the finishes and layout of the property are more important, it may be a good idea to take other builders into account. I still think DR Horton has pretty good layouts as well, but their finishes could be better, but you can't have everything. For the price, you're getting a good deal. If you want to start building equity, if you're a younger person and you want to start, getting the principal pay down, the tax benefits, stuff that you get with owning a property, and you're in it for more than 2 years at a minimum, I think DR Horton is a great home. You're going to get a lower monthly payment. The finishes are definitely good enough. They're not cheaping out on their finishes for sure. Just make sure that you run all 5 of those checks. Make sure that you know what you're buying, the neighborhood that you're buying into, the other options that are actually available to you, so that you can make an informed decision on a huge financial investment. That's the DR Horton review. If you're relocating to Temple, Belton, Central Texas, please reach out to me. I'm working with people just like you every single day. I'd love to have a private conversation and see if we may be a good fit working together. I hope y'all enjoy this video. Let's get it.